friends. My name is Amber. So I'm a nurse in the ER in the hospital. I'm originally from Thailand. I has been a nurse for over 10 years back in Thailand. So today we're gonna talk about the difference of the ER nurse, floor nurse, and the ICU. So personally, I don't have a floor nurse or the ICU experience here in the US, but back in Thailand, I start out in the mid-third like floor. So you see everybody that was admitted from the ER or uh, come from home that already have an orders for admission. And I has been a floor nurse for like 2 years, and then I had a chance to come to the US to just study English, to get better in speaking English for like 2 years. And then at that time I know myself, I tell myself I want to get in a critical care. So when I went back to Thailand, I was applied for the job at the hospital for like ICU, critical care, ICU, uh, coronary care and things like that. So I was in the ICU for the total of 10 months, and I just didn't like it. So I was applied for another hospital in the ER, and I love it. So I has been working in the ER for like a little bit over 4 years until I met my husband, and then we decided to get married, and then I moved to the US. And then at that time I was waiting for all the paperwork like green card and the work permit. So it was like a few months. So I was working as the cashier assistant for like a few months. I got some experience, which is like I feel like nursing is a service job, you know. So when you work in like cashier or whatever, you kind of like learning how to deal with people, how to um, survive every day and make everybody happy and yourself happy. So I was working there for a few months until I got my work permit, and I got my green card, I got my nursing license. So I started applying for the job in the hospital, and I was so scared because I didn't have an experience as a nurse in the state before. So I applied for every single job that I can find online, and then I finally got a job offer from like a few different hospital, and then I narrowed down to two hospital. The first hospital that I decided to work with, that is a specialized in cardiac. It's a small hospital, and it's like a 50-bed hospital. They work like a family, everybody know each other, we work well together. So I has been working there for like a little bit like 3 years, and then we moved from one house to our present house right now. And then I have been trying to look for a job that close to my house because I don't want to deal with traffic going to work and then come back from work. So I finally, like at the end of last year, I finally got a job at the hospital that is bigger than the first hospital I worked. And then it's kind of like ER, trauma level 2, which the previous hospital I worked with is the trauma level 4, which they are specialized in cardiac. So this hospital is like specialized more in trauma level 2, and then we take everybody like stroke, um, MI, whatever. So it had been 1 month since I work in this hospital. I'm so happy. The difference when you work in a smaller hospital is like it's easy to work with people you know, but when you work in a bigger hospital as a new, not new, but it's like international nurse that come like a foreign nurse, you kind of like still learning, and you see the difference. Like a bigger hospital, you have more resource, you have more people helping you. You kind of like have a lot of hand, like they have medical student, they have resident, they have physician assistant, they have medical assistant, they have paramedic in the ER. It seems like when something happen, everybody's there for you. So you kind of like you are more busy for sure when you work in the bigger hospital, but it seems like it's not overwhelm you when you are working and you're busy. So today I finished work, and talking about working in as a floor nurse, ER nurse, and a critical care nurse. So here I feel like when you work in the ER, a lot of time because they don't have enough room for the patient. Actually, like the patient come in, start in the ER, and then admission or go home. So if they admission, they can be like tele, med surg, or critical care. So now, especially in winter, they don't have enough room upstairs for the patient. So we end up have to hold the patient for like 24 hours or even 48 hours until we send them home from the ER that they're supposed to be on the floor. So I feel like we are holding everybody like med surg or tele or critical care. So I feel like I'm learning like the different thing. Like ER is like we get a patient in and get a patient out. It's like get a patient in the ER out is mean go home or go up to the floor. So we try to do everything fast, and it's like focus assessment. So if you come in here, are you breathing? Like ABC, like airway, breathing, circulation. You're not dying, and you come in with like headache. So we do CT scan, we do blood test, we give you pain medication. But like you can see when you are calling report to the floor nurse, they will be asking like when was the patient bowel movement, who bring the patient in, and I was like, I'm ER nurse, I don't know what is, like I don't care when he have bowel movement, if he come in with like headache. um, so that is kind of like the different thing. So when I was working back in Thailand as like a floor nurse, I just like like you do like total care, and you have to know everything. You have to know who is the family, who is the wife, who is the husband. But as an ER, you just focus to the patient, but you still have to take care of the family. You have to let them know what is going on. That's the key thing when you work in the ER right now. Like you have to talk a lot to tell them how long it's going to take for the results, how long it's going to take for the blood, and then you have to tell them when you're going to come back and update them. Like if you say you're going to come back in 30 minutes, make sure you come back in 30 minutes. I feel like it's the same thing when you work on the floor or in the ICU. When you tell them something, so you don't have to get a call like every 15 minutes. So you have to inform them what is going on, what we're going to do, this is what is going to happen, and you make sure you go back and do what you say. Some of the nurses like have call like every 15 minutes because they don't like to talk, they don't like to tell the patient what's going on. So as a patient, like everybody has been a patient, so you want to know what is going on and how long it's going to take. And if it's more than that, then you will call and say, hey, I has been waiting as you say, and what is going on right now. So in the ICU, you have to be like, I used to work in Thailand as an ICU nurse for like even just 10 months. But I know like sometimes you have one patient for like the longest patient that I have before, she has been in the ICU for like 2 years when I was working there. So you see the same patient, you have all the lie or the med, everything you have to do like change position every 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever. You have to clean up them. It seems like it's like working on and on and on all the time. And the floor nurse, you have to deal with like, okay, did you feed them? Did you take them to like parties? As a family came in, and how you're gonna do the thing, how you're gonna manage the time. So the nursing thing is like that is like the management thing. Like you have a critical thinking what you have to do first. Like if you have like 5 patients, who's gonna die first if you don't go and see them? It's like in a ER, if you have like 5 or 10 patients check in at the same time as the triage nurse or whatever, you have to see like who's gonna die first if you don't go and see them. I feel like the thing I do sometimes when you work in the ER, you have 5 patients, and you have to see like, okay, if like 20 years old chest pain, 95-year-old short of breath, and 35 years old have like nausea, vomiting, you're gonna go with the oldest one first and see how they're doing. You see if they are breathing, their circulation, check their blood pressure, check their pulse and everything, and then you go to the next patient and see how they're doing. So you make sure like you see 3 patients, and then you will decide who you're gonna go and do EKG, who you're gonna go and draw blood, who you're gonna go and give them medication first. And the main thing, you have to always inform them like what is going on, how the thing going. And if you have time, you take care of the patient, you take care of the family, so everybody happy. um, I know, like, I love ER, and I has been in ER for like almost 8 years, and I love it so far. So we're gonna have another next video talking about so many different things as a foreign nurse and as an ER nurse, as a mom, as a wife, you know. So stay tuned, and don't forget to subscribe and follow me, and I'll come up with a new thing to share with you guys. Okay, thank you, bye bye.